Hi everyone, my name is Dee. Today is January 1st, 2025, and on January 10th, I'm flying to get a breast reduction done. I want to talk to you about why I'm getting a breast reduction, where I'm getting it, and more things. So I'm pretty much going to share everything that I've been going through, and also I'm going to try to mention things that I wanted to know and learn from other people before my decision to get a breast reduction officially done, but didn't find it online. So I really hope this helps. This is the first part of this series. Let's get going. I am 37 years old. I got breasts in this size pretty much at 14, 15 years old when I started high school, and it just felt like they kind of grew overnight. As someone who was physically very active, I always danced, I always exercised, I was always very energetic as a little girl. Getting breasts and getting large breasts overnight was a shocker to me, to be quite honest. And I was always a little bit more of a tomboy. I didn't really, even when I hit puberty, when they really grew, I didn't really focus too much on the whole female, I'm cute, look at me, I have boobs, type of attention. I never craved that, if that makes sense. In my mind, I was still so like playful and boobs, what? Boys like boobs, like what? It didn't hit me until later that that's something sexual and that it's desirable and all of those things. So the only thought I had was like, oh my God, what is this? And oh my God, I can't dance. My movements didn't look as elegant as I wanted them to look and as they should look. Today, nothing has changed in the way of me wanting to dress a certain way. The way I want to dress, when you have large breasts, they tend to look vulgar and you look vulgar, and that was never kind of my style. I couldn't care less if I wear a large cleavage and if you look at my boobs and say, "Ooh, wow," I don't want that attention. I know women that are my close friends who love that, and I applaud them for that. I just don't like it from me. And would my life be easier if I liked that way of dressing and that type of attention? Absolutely. Wear something revealing and there you go. The attention is yours. You look good. I just don't feel comfortable. So anytime I would want to wear something that's more revealing, I would look vulgar. So what I would do to kind of hide that is I would wear things that are really like high up, like turtlenecks or like this, what you just see me in. So I would hide them. Throughout high school, I wore always baggy shirts to hide my curves. Now, I am only 5'2", 5'3" on good days. At 5'2", having a double D cup is a lot, okay? Now, I know a few women in my life who are also 5'2", 5'3", and have large breasts, and they wear it with pride. And I applaud them, I'm really proud of them, and they look amazing. But I was never able to, so what that made me feel is that I'm always like a bag of potatoes wrapped up in things and accentuating anything else on my body just so people can kind of look somewhere else and not towards my boobs, because I feel like they're the first thing that walk into the room, and that is very annoying for me. When my breasts grew, I started just not feeling comfortable in my body. I would diet and do things just to lose the breasts, but they would never go. And one thing that I want to mention, I think that my breasts when they just grew, looked beautiful. And I think they would look amazing on me if I was 5'8", 5'10". But 5'2", and these large two balloons, it just didn't look appealing. And I do have, as superficial as it sounds, I do have an idea of how I want to look and what makes me feel best. And I do not change that. I tried, but to this day, I still feel the same, and I have an ideal in my head. And having more curves, which I also have, if I gain a few pounds, plus the boobs, I look like a little balloon. And it doesn't look appealing. It doesn't look flattering on the clothes. I don't feel good. I feel like, I just feel heavy. So if you can pull that off, more power to you. I cannot. And I think it's very important for us to be very honest with ourselves and do things that make us feel good. Realistically and safely, obviously. That was at 14, 15. I lived my whole life hiding behind baggy clothes, but press forward to now, I'm 37 years old. It's January 1st, 2025. I'm getting a breast reduction. So now let's go to 2022. January 2022. I just had enough. I said, you know what? I'm old enough now. I have to look into officially getting a breast reduction. I cannot just be thinking about it and talking about it. I need to get it done. I had a child in 2015. I was breastfeeding. My breasts went from double D to E, if not F. Just huge. It's just too much. My back started hurting. I breastfed for 22 months. They would get so, it was just a lot. Not really good. But what the pregnancy did to my breasts was deflated them a little. After I stopped breastfeeding, my breasts shrank a lot. They did sag obviously a little bit, but not where I hate them. I just loved the fact that they deflated a lot and didn't go too much down. Much easier for me to hide them and pack them up in like bras and shirts. I still wore everything really non-revealing, but it was easier to pack them up while, they weren't like right here. But they still weren't ideal. They were still big. I couldn't wear anything I wanted to wear. It was just a lot. So now let's go to 2022. I officially say, hey, I'm not having more kids. I'm not breastfeeding anymore. I'm old enough. I can do this. I want to do this. I wanted to do this my whole life. What do I have to do? So the first thing I did, I went obviously online and looked for NYC doctors. And the first office that popped up was a breast reduction center, which means all they do is breast reductions, which in my head meant they must be excellent. All they do all day long is breast reductions. So I called them up. They were really helpful and they told me that, hey, if you have insurance, we can make it that the insurance covers your breast reduction. And I said, oh, I do, let's try it. I gave them a bunch of physical therapy notes that I had done. I gave them a note from my primary care physician. I gave them whatever I could give them to prove that I have back pain and that it's really medically necessary for me to get a breast reduction. And they said, we're 99% sure that we'll get it covered if we submit it this way that we usually do it. And I said, go ahead. So I gave them everything, they submitted everything. I met before that with the doctor who said, I cannot take off more than 50%. And that was the first moment where I thought, what if you go down 50%, remove 50% of the tissue of the breast, but I still think they're large? That's a big problem to have if you are getting a breast reduction because you want smaller breasts, and then yet you wake up with much larger breasts than you anticipated. I just felt like that is a big risk to take. And also the way he said that, I felt like it wasn't really, I had no choice in that. Now, I understand if it's something that needs to be done because, it's not safe to go smaller, and I know that there are guidelines and there are things, but I just felt like not giving me an example or not giving me an explanation is also not okay, because in the end of the day, this is not a free surgery. These surgeries in New York City are extremely expensive, which cost is something I'll get to later, very soon. So I met up with the doctor. They submitted the claims they submitted the, whatever you call it in the insurance terms, to my insurance, United Healthcare at that time. And they denied it. But they didn't deny it because the doctor couldn't prove it's medically necessary. They denied it saying, I don't have the breast reduction benefit in my plan. Annoying, I know. So what I did, I called my insurance and asked if the benefit could be added. Then they said, oh, call your employer, call the HR, they might be able to add it. At that time, I was insured through my husband's employer. I was a dependent. So I called his HR and they said, oh, that's not something we can do. I called a bunch of other institutions and people. No one was able to do anything. So at this point, I tell the doctor's office and I say, hey, I can't do this. By the way, if I wasn't able to get covered by the insurance, the office said the reduction would cost $18,500. I know, a lot. $18,500. Plus, the doctor said, because I have these pouches here, like fat accumulations, armpit pouches, he would like to perform a liposuction on my armpits, especially the right one, to make it aesthetically really go well with my smaller breasts. And I said, I would love that too, because yes, when I close my arms, I have quite big pouches here and it just doesn't look right. It looks like I have 3 boobs. I said, sure, will that be included in the $18,500? And he said, no, that's $2,500 extra. So now we're talking $20,000 plus, right? And my thought process is, if I'm paying so much money, might I at least request a size? I understand maybe I cannot go from double D to an A cup if it's not safe, but a little, a small B should be possible. I guess. I'm not a doctor, but I just wanted an explanation why it's not feasible to go down to a B cup from a double D. No explanation. He just said, no, I can only remove 50%. Okay. I tell the office that I can't do this. They gave me an option to do payment plans. I didn't want to do this. I'm back on the internet. I'm researching. I'm kind of sad, but it is what it is. I know it happened for a reason. And one day, although I don't use TikTok, I stumble upon, because at that time I downloaded TikTok, and I stumbled upon a young lady that said, oh, the feeling from going from a double D to a small B. She was talking about her breast reduction. I'm like, okay, hello. So I click and see her video, and it's really what I want to. Also, she was one of 2 women online that looked more like me, that more had a body type like I do. Normally it's either much taller women, much bigger women, or much slimmer women. It was always hard to relate. So she was one of the people, one of the women that I saw online that had more of my body type. So I could relate, I could really see what she got, and that maybe that would work for me too. So what I did, I texted them both. And I said, hey, one was from Canada, so it was hard to relate to her insurance journey. She had it covered. But the other one was from California. And I texted her, contacted her, and because she said in her video that she had a breast reduction in Miami, I reached out to her, and she told me that she loved the doctor. She interviewed with 3 doctors prior. She only really loved that one. And she said that the cost for her breast reduction was $10,000. Now, it was pretty much more than $10,000 less than I would pay in New York City. So I call up that doctor, paid my deposit. Actually, if I stuck to the plan, I would have gone now, January 2025. They just were too much booked out. And I also needed time to kind of save money up and stuff, so I don't have to pay in, by credit or something. I paid my deposit of $3,000. My quote was $12,500, not including the lipo on my armpits, but still way less than $20,000+. But then I started thinking, hold on, I have to pay a hotel or an Airbnb. That would be at least $3,000 at the time I would go. I need flight tickets for me and my family because I can't go alone. Someone needs to be around me for a few days, right? Then I need the flight tickets to come back. I need the place there. I need to buy food. It'll still add up to $15,000+. So, if not more. Hey, I'm really sorry if the quality of the video changes, but I had to change to my phone because my camera died. Anyway, where was I? So, I was thinking, if I have to pay for all of those things, I'm back again to $18,000+, and I'm not at home. Might as well then pay $18 and a few $1,000s more and be at home. But then as time went on, it just started hitting me that $20,000+, because remember with the lipo, it would be $22,000, I believe, $1,000. It is a lot of money. It is a lot of money. And I know going somewhere else, it could be cheaper. Obviously, I wanted to get done safely, of course. So I decided to cancel my surgery in Miami. I got my deposit back and I started researching doctors in New York City again. I came across a doctor that I have been researching a few years prior. So I decided to just pull the trigger and call. So I called, they schedule a consultation, and I see the doctor, and the doctor easily says, yes, I could go down to a small B. Everything that I really asked her if she could do, she said she could do safely. And the office said they'll try to submit it to my insurance. I told them that I already had tried and that I have no benefit for breast reduction. And they said, let us try, blah, blah, blah. They go ahead, they try, I do more physical therapy, I submit all of that, and yet I was denied because I didn't have a breast reduction benefit. At that point, I tell them, hey, this is not gonna happen, but the cost was also $18,000 with the addition that the lipo on my armpits would not be $2,500, it will be $5,000. A lot of dollars. So that's even more now than $20,000. Oh my God. So I said, just can't do this. Now, that is already 2023. Summer of 2023 comes, and I just out of nowhere mentioned my breast reduction to one of my friends who lived with me in high school because I was in a boarding school in high school. So we lived together, we were roommates. And then also in college, we became roommates again. So we're really close. I know her really well. I know that she can relate because she also has really large breasts, also since high school. So when I mentioned that to her, that I want to get a reduction, by the way, she lives in Turkey. She got married there. She lives in Turkey. And she tells me, hey, a friend of mine had a breast reduction and a nose job at this doctor's office. I see her building from my balcony. She's like, I know that she loved the doctor. Would you want to contact her? And she shared the doctor's Instagram profile. So I went and researched, and I loved the photos that I saw. And I sent her an Instagram message. She responded very quickly. I shared photos. She said that she can get it done, and she gave me the cost. Now, yes, the cost is pretty much less than my deposit in Miami was. The cost was really not a lot. I could pay it easily and not think about it anymore. I'm reasonable enough. I know that just because it's less money that everything else is good or safe. I want to be safe and I want to be in good hands. So I told her, hey, let me research a little longer and I'll get back to you. And she told me, totally fine, take your time, blah, blah, blah. So we stayed in touch. This was July of 2023. We stayed in touch on and off all throughout 2023 to 2024. What is this? September, August, September of 2024. So we stayed in touch pretty much a year and some. Any questions I had, I reached out to 2 of her clients from the UK who gave me great testimonials and spoke highly of her. The doctor has great credentials. I researched her heavily. Part of her doctor's education, whatever it was in Germany, happened to be in a place where I lived, which is Wiesbaden. And all of that kind of meant something to me. And again, she had great reviews and everything. And then came the time that I said, hey, if I wanted to meet you, meaning talk to you via camera, how could we arrange that? And she arranged that really quickly. It was really easy to talk to her once we met. And I eventually booked a surgery to go to Antalya, Turkey, to my friend's doctor, who my friend also wants to go to once she is ready. And my flight is on January 10th. Now, I want to also talk about things other than cost. One of the reasons I decided to go to Turkey, one of the reasons, not the only one of the reasons is that this is not going to be a popular opinion, but I think it's important to be put out there for all of you who are planning to get something done and think that this is the standard and this is how it should be done. So I live in New York City, right? The capital of the world. There's a lot of doctors. There's a lot of great, excellent doctors. But doctors in New York City can come across as a little arrogant kind of attitude. I know that how. I've been talking to a few doctors. I've been interviewing with a lot of doctors through my professional career. I've worked in medical institutions, and doctors can be a little arrogant in New York towards their patients. That being said, I'm not saying they're not great doctors. Some of them are amazing, some are not, like everywhere. But that being said, I know there's a large group of people out there who's saying, don't go to other countries to get surgeries. And I agree 98%, because you shouldn't go somewhere just because you're saving $10,000. Obviously, if I could get my surgery done for $20,000 in New York City and get it done excellently by an arrogant doctor versus pay cheap and get a poor job, of course I would pay more. But I also know a lot of people who have a lot of money, people who don't struggle with funds, who can go anywhere, yet they choose to go to Turkey because they've seen the world and they've seen the standards, they've seen the care and they've seen the things which some of us living in New York City have not. So we think So we think everything here is best. It's not really true. Turkey currently has a really high standard in the healthcare industry and in the whole cosmetic plastic surgery system. Something that really, other than the cost, obviously, something that weighed a lot for me when it came to Turkey versus New York City or anywhere else in the United States of America was the attitude. When I ask a doctor X, Y, and Z, because I worked with many, it's almost like you bothered them. The doctor in Miami too, I never met the doctor in Miami. I spoke to their assistants or someone, a coordinator in the clinic, who said, send us photos. I sent them photos and they said, the photos are on Dr., I won't say the name, desk. And a few days later they said, Dr. So-and-so looked at your photos and he said, we can go ahead and do the surgery. So in my limited mind, I should meet the doctor. Like, how can you, how can you sell me a surgery when I haven't even met you, when I even won't meet you until I see you the day of or a day before surgery? Now, you as a doctor can be very confident and know that you're going to do a great job, but in my mind, I'm not a doctor. It's just common sense to meet you way before the day before surgery. That is not a good practice, I want to say. So when doctors in New York City or across the country say, don't go to Turkey, don't go to other countries, I see why they're saying this, because these people over there overseas do take their jobs for a fraction of the cost. But I also hope that doctors here will kind of think about their bedside manner as well a little, because sometimes we go because things are cheaper, but sometimes we also go because we get a more humane interaction with the doctor and the whole staff. So that is one of the reasons I chose to go to Turkey. Now, am I shitting bricks? 100%, because hello, I'm going into someone's hands. But have I done a lot of research? Yes, check. I've met with the doctor online. I got their vibe. I got their credentials. I saw results, spoken to people who have been with that doctor. I know someone who knows someone who actually had it done with that doctor. So that all means a lot. So that being said, if I skipped anything, probably I did, I'll mention another time in another video. This is the first part. I'm really sorry if this is a long video. It's really a rant. And I'll try to vlog while I'm there. Also, in the package that I paid to get the surgery done, I also included the lipo on my armpits. And if I paid only 600 euros extra, I could have gotten 7 days stay in a hotel and transportation from the airport to the hotel, from the hotel to the clinic, from the clinic to the hotel, from the hotel to the airport to go back. I, however, will stay with my friend who is in Turkey, who sees the doctor's clinic from her balcony. She's going to help me with the post-op care. It works out. But even if you didn't have a friend like me, for 600 euros only more, you would get all of that taken care of. Some clinics even offer flight fares, which I paid separately. That wasn't a part of the package. But all I'm saying is, pardon me, do your research. Don't just go because it's cheaper. Yes, that helps a lot, that you pay less, but do your research on the doctor's credentials. Do your research on the reviews. Talk to people who were on that doctor's table. Talk to anyone you can to research. I personally know a lot of people who went to Turkey who are really happy. Is it for hair restoration surgery? Is it for, pardon me, any other plastic surgery? So I am confident that this is going to be great. I am obviously shitting bricks because it's a surgery, period. That's just normal, human nature. It would be weird if I wasn't. But I want you to do your research and I want you to use your own judgment and see what you should do. Conclusion here is that I tried my best to stay in New York City or in the United States of America to do it. What deterred me, other than the cost, because the cost did deter me, but I've also almost done it. Other than the cost, pardon me, The attitude of the doctors did deter me a bit. And then, for example, on top of the $20,000+ that I would pay, the doctors always sent me, every doctor that I met or spoke to their clinic. So I have always gotten a link where they wanted me to buy post-op bras, gauzes, and a bunch of things that would add up to $250. I know the rents are huge in New York City. I know all of that, but you cannot tell me that after $20,000 plus I give you, I still have to pay $250+ and to buy gauze and post-op care things. Versus over there, I'm getting all of those things, although I'm paying less. I'm not a math genius, but it just something doesn't add up here, which adds to the whole arrogancy segment. Again, I gotta go. My family's coming back. I'm going to make part 2 of this video to show you my whole feelings about leaving for Turkey. And I'm going to vlog the trip, and I'm going to record post-operative everything. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and I hope you have a great time, and I hope you'll learn something. And if you are on the journey like me to get a breast reduction, share your thoughts and how you went through everything and what you think. And I hope to see you soon next time. Bye!